Nice.
Oh boy.
All right,
we're gonna have an actual therapy session today. This is Star Trek Europa. I am your host, as always, Jeff Harvey, and you can find me at Studio Tembo and all the places and all the things. We'll get more of that at the end of the introductions. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get to those same introductions with Brian. Go ahead and start.
I am Brian. I am playing Ensign Yezebeth Hage, amongst other characters. I am not on the internet. You cannot find me. Do not try.
All right. Kendall, go ahead.
Hi, I am playing I'm sorry, I'm Kendall. I am playing Commander Eleanor Brooks.
It's not
And,
playing Kendall.
Yeah,
I'm Kendall playing Kendall.
that would be very confusing, more confusing than it already is. It's
That
funny
is
this
the
way.
mirror episode.
Yeah, it is funny this way. And you can find me at places at Kindle the Elemental. If you cannot find me at places with that name, you should not be finding me there.
Fair enough. Evelyn, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ev. You can find me on TikTok at Caffeinatrix. You can also find me over on St. Pete by Night. On Twitch, I am playing Dr. Desave Oneat, who is back in her fucking hell, can't talk. Her medbay where she belongs.
Just can't use words is all.
No words. That's all right. She's telepathic. She doesn't need to talk. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah, who needs words for a podcast?
Right.
Exactly.
Totally overrated. Jack, go ahead.
Yes, hello, I am Jack. You may know me from my own channel, perhaps from a ways back. I have my own channel over at twitch.tv/The People's Ascension and over at Twitter at PPLS Ascension because the whole thing doesn't fit. And of course, you can find me on YouTube if you search in the search bar for The People's Ascension. And if you like what we do, go hit that like so I can get a nice fancy URL so I can tell people you can just go to youtube.com/The People's Ascension. We're very close. We're very close. But I focus on showcasing all kinds of other new games, up and coming games, indie games, and most importantly, teaching games in my series, RPGs Uncovered, a series dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it can be to learn a new TTRPG. And I am very excited for my newest upcoming collab project, not on my channel, but over on twitch.tv/Tales from the Tabletop. I will be working with The Lion Knight, a great guy, and we will be premiering our SCP game. I believe you can see over here up in my box, a Crumbling Foundation, an SCP-themed actual play, premiering November 14th at 8 p.m. EST. That is next Monday, and I am super excited for that. For other news, come hang out with me on Twitter or on my Discord, and I will drop my links shortly. But for now, we are in space. We are in the Federation. We're playing some Star Trek Europa, and I will be Captain Irani Ambrose and Secret Agent Tong and all kinds of other characters who certainly don't have any problems.
We're all completely normal and fine.
Everything's fine.
All right, I am, as I said before, your host and the game master for today's session, Jeff Harvey, and you can find me at all the places that are Studio Tembo. I am on Twitch and Twitter and TikTok and all the things. Also, if you'd like to join us in discussions, we are on Discord, and you can find that link in the link tree I have posted in the thing over there, the chat that was supposed to show up on the screen for those of you watching, but it is not, and I don't know why. I thought I fixed it. I didn't. Yeah, I lost my brain. Let's go ahead and do a quick recap of where we last left off.
Today's gonna go great, guys.
Oh, I know. I have been burning myself out. This is my long week at work, so I have been burning myself out trying to get homework done, trying to get stuff for the game done, and we've been busy because it's a full moon weekend, which I know they say isn't real, but it's absolutely
No,
real.
it's real. It is. I believe a lot of things. I don't believe a lot of things. And
It was a blood moon.
I absolutely 1,000% believe in full moons. That is anybody who's worked in medicine, mental health, the thing. Childcare, kids go all weird. Anyhow, recap. So we made it back to Starbase 234. Tong, Ladal, Silva, free from the med bay. Tong said he hit his head on a power conduit. Delphine definitely believed him. the captain and Dasavi talked about Esbeth and their disagreements on whether or not she should be promoted. We interrogated the guy whose name is M and isn't Martok or
Admiral Mendek.
Admiral Mendek. There we go. Somewhere in here.
Also, I did fix the chat. Thank you. Continue though.
Okay. Tana and Kendall had a really good conversation about family, and Tana pushed some buttons a little bit, pushed Kendall out of her comfort zone a smidge. So we got kind of the lowdown on what was going on with Romulus and the RSE versus the Tel Shiar. Found out that Koshari is but we knew she was captured. She's the granddaughter of
Emperor.
Yes.
The Emperor.
Praetor.
Yeah.
He's the Praetor?
Praetor.
Yeah.
Sela is the proconsul. You have to know your Romulan history to understand the Romulans. The Roman history to understand your Romulans.
It did seem like the Admiral had more to say, but couldn't quite get that out of it. Fox will finally get the hell off our ship. Goodbye, sir. Farewell, wherever the hell you are, far away from us.
Alfeeder saying goodbye.
We met new Commander Brooks. She and the captain had a fun little exchange back and forth. She shared that during the Dominion War, she was part of the medical away missions to retrieve the fallen soldiers. And she plans to do some psych workups on our perfectly normal, everything's fine crew. And then, just as we thought it was going to be a nice, quiet ending, Silva, exhausted from a long mission and an interrogation, made her way to her quarters. When she walked in, the lights wouldn't turn on. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly she found Thomas, dun dun dun, sitting in a chair. He told her, "I'm glad to see you've made it off the planet. I think we should have a talk." Said, "I think we should," her comm badge, and we faded to black. I believe I have a note that says we are picking up with a chase through the ship.
Maybe. I think I have a better solution.
Okay.
Wasn't necessarily intending on Silva, ratting him out, but that's right.
I do want to clarify. She wasn't immediately calling for help. She was brushing against it to activate it while they talked.
Right. Just so that
just straightening your uniform. Okay.
Yeah.
She was crossing her arms, pulling one of those. And I'm happy to do a roll if you want me to do that sneakily.
It won't make a difference. So
okay. All right.
All right. So Thomas is in your room. It is pretty dark. There's only the light coming from the station through the windows. Because it's black in space, even though there's always light in the room for some reason. But there is light coming in from the station nearby, as you guys are still at Starbase 234. And Thomas is sitting in a chair near your data console. But there are no lights on in your room. The console isn't on, the light, even the lights on the replicator are off at the moment. So there is no lights, no energy going through the systems in your room at the moment.
Okay.
You can give me a quick. Well, you won't need to do that yet. Thomas looks at you and says, "Well, as I said, I'm glad you made it out. I believe that you and Tong seemed to be you and Lieutenant Tong appear to have been an excellent choice."
I'm glad you made it out too. It's not just any lieutenant who can survive in a Romulan prison by themselves.
I wasn't there as long as I might have. I wasn't there as long as some of you were.
Well, I hope you don't hold it against us that we left without you, but we figured you could take care of yourself.
Absolutely not. I have hold nothing against you. I do suspect, though, that your ingenuity may be provided you with additional information that intelligence could use at some point. And
I'd be happy to report to Starfleet intelligence.
Excellent.
But something tells me that wouldn't be through you.
Any information that is provided to Starfleet intelligence will make its way to me eventually.
Well, then I guess you got nothing to worry about.
I don't. The reason I stopped by, though, was because I wanted to, I suppose, gauge your interest in a future endeavor. As I said, you performed well.
I swear to God, if this is how you ask me out on a date, I worry about your romantic life.
I don't have a lot of time for romantic lives, but I wouldn't be opposed to a coffee.
I'll pass.
Fair enough. You didn't answer my question, though.
Yeah. You're going to have to give me more information about this quote-unquote future endeavor.
Well, I don't have any at the moment, but if you'd like me to reach out when I have a job that might fit you well, then I will. Otherwise, this will be the last time you ever see me. Unless, of course, you change your mind about the coffee.
You know, I'm willing to listen, but something back on my planet, the colony I grew up, there was a certain type of fish that resembled an underwater leaf, and as long as you moved slowly enough, it didn't bite you. But if it thought for a moment that you were bigger than it, it would chomp on you and never let go. I don't know if I don't think. I suppose that's just my way of saying I don't trust you.
Nor should you. But at some point, I may earn that trust.
The way to do that is to give me more information. And until that, I don't think we have much to talk about.
Well, perhaps I'll reach out again sometime.
As I said, I'm happy to listen.
In the meantime, I'll simply be the leaf waiting for its nearby victim. You'll excuse me. And he gets up and walks into your bedroom for some, well, the other room, not necessarily your bedroom, but the other room. And you hear the transporter go off.
Mm.
Also, then once he's off and you hear the transporter finish, the lights on your console and your replicator come back on.
Okay. I would like to talk to the computer.
Sure.
And I would like to have it isolate his voice protocols to do a search for to do a search by vocal records with Starfleet to try to see if I can identify who he is.
Okay.
All
right. Yeah, go ahead and give me a quick some sort of role that would apply effectively to there.
Maybe security insight.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
I like that. And I would say that Eva can assist. So if someone wants to roll for the ship.
Great. Yeah, I will message Eva, or I will say to Eva, did you get that, Eva? Need your help isolating that voice. Want to find out who this Thomas really is.
I will do what I can. Somebody got that on the ship there, buddy?
What is the ship rolling?
It would probably be science, because everything is science.
Science.
Computer
science?
I think computers and science would work best, yeah.
Yeah.
Or communications actually could be an okay one, but computers is probably better.
Does my focus in espionage play?
Yeah, I would say it would.
Oh, okay.
Also, welcome to chat, Penish. What's that?
That is 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. Eva responds with, after searching the compiled databases for voice recognition, I do find Ensign in Starfleet Academy approximately 9 years ago. His record has been expunged beyond his acceptance into Starfleet intelligence.
Great. I think it's time we let the captain in on this, don't you? Prepare a report. Letting the captain. I'm going to write up a report. Could you please prepare a report for me to sign off on to let the captain know about this situation, see how he wants to move forward?
I will do my best.
Thanks, Eva.
Of course, Lieutenant.
And can you do me a favor? Just scan the room for bugs, just in case. God, I'm feeling paranoid now.
Stand by. I am detecting no additional listening devices in your ship in your quarters at this time. Your comm signal is now back. Has been restored.
All right. Thanks, Eva. That seems like a good place to wrap up the scene.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do our introduction, credit, or whatever they call this thing. Not to mention what?
Forcing you to talk about your feelings.
Oh yes, forcing feelings. All right. Thank you for following us through the introduction. The next scene we have is going to be Dr. Dasavi Onayat and the new executive officer who has replaced Dr. Dasavi Onayat as first officer, Commander Eleanor Brooks. I assume this will be, I don't know, do you want to, for Commander Brooks, do you want to have this be in like your room, in your specific office, or do you want to have an office set aside specifically for counselor stuff?
I'd like to have an office specifically set aside for counseling stuff, so it'd be easier for her to separate.
Sure.
What she's doing.
All right, so we'll assume that it is there. It's a pretty probably a pretty comfortable space. You can describe it beyond that if you want to, but yeah, we'll start there.
Yeah, it's just a comfortable space. The lights are kind of dim, so that's not too bright, and it's just a place that's kind of easy to talk in. But you won't fall asleep.
Not playing light jazz or anything.
Challenge accepted.
That's Koba's job. He's going to fall asleep during this.
All
right, go ahead.
Thank you for joining me, Dr. Dasavi.
Of course, Commander. How can I help you?
Oh, I was wondering if you would be willing to be my first to submit to the psychological evaluations.
Certainly. Happy to
lead the
help
charge.
break you in and set a good example.
I appreciate that. Please take a seat.
Come in and make yourself comfortable.
And she'll sit across from her. Got like a sketchbook in hand. So, Dr. Dasavi, how long have you been serving on this ship?
This ship, since she first left PS9. No. Narendra? Now I don't
I'm
remember.
not.
A while.
I'm not sure where you joined. I think you joined at Narendra.
Right. Right.
And you've been enjoying your time on here so far?
As much as one enjoys service, not
You can say no. It's okay.
enjoys
Or
the right word. Uh,
what's the right word?
it's a duty. It
Mhm.
is a privilege not only to serve in Starfleet, but to serve upon one of her flagships. But it's not exactly a pleasure cruise. It's work. It's difficult. But at the end of the day, it's worth it.
So it satisfies you.
Yes.
Which part of it do you find the most satisfying about your work here, or the least satisfying?
Well, the least satisfying you have relieved me of. Not that I didn't appreciate the faith the captain has in me or serving at his side. However, I was never meant for the bridge. I'm much better suited to the med bay, and that sort of work and that sort of.
So the captain asked me a very intriguing question after you left, and I found it constructive. Where were you during the war?
I was serving aboard processing.
You should have known this question was coming.
I should have. But I've been doing a million and one things this week as well.
So much has happened. It happens. So much happens all the time.
I was serving aboard the Hephaestus, which was an ambulance of sorts during the
Hospital
war.
ship.
Yes.
And how did you feel there? It's okay to be blunt.
Oh, it's a complicated question with a complicated answer.
Well, let's hear all of it then. It doesn't need to make sense.
I was able to do a lot of good. I was able to save lives in both the literal sense and in the more ephemeral sense.
Mm-hmm.
The captain himself is quantify things one of my most proudest accomplishments.
You saved his life.
I did. And not only that, but allowed him to continue doing what he excels at, and I presume enjoys, for lack of a better word. Being able to do that
Mhm.
gave me a sense of purpose. That I had to do it? No. That it had to be done is tragic. That I was able to do it, I'm grateful.
So you find a satisfaction out of being able to serve.
Yes. It was
Now-
difficult to not be
Mhm.
with my family on Beta Z, especially but luckily they were unharmed. Well, I guess not
Physically.
entirely.
Oh, did you lose someone?
I think she lost herself. In a way.
Who?
That's not my story to tell.
Okay. Now, this is going to seem like an odd question in relation to what you've said so far. But outside of your ability to serve and your ways of serving others, what do you like about yourself?
I've been in Starfleet so long, that's not a question I've thought about in a while.
Yes, I found many officers don't really think about themselves as individuals very much anymore. But they have to be treated as such. Because you may be a cog in this very massive machine, but you are a machine yourself. And you have to be able to treat yourself accordingly. You have to know what you yourself are good at outside of serving the whole.
Well,
What parts of you do you enjoy that are not in service to others? You don't have to answer me today. I know that can be a tough question sometimes. But it is something I would appreciate you thinking about.
I don't know the last time I did something that wasn't in service to Starfleet or my family. I used to knit.
What did you knit?
All sorts of things. Scarves, hats, sweaters.
Were they any good?
Yeah, weren't bad.
What were your favorite kinds of yarn? If I can ask. I know that can be an odd preference sometimes.
Are there different kinds of yarn?
There,
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's a small planet not far from Beta Z that has this little grazing animal. Can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But its wool was softer than a chinchilla's fur.
Hmm.
It was like coming home and to a fire on a cold winter's day.
That sounds delightful. When was the last time you knit?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay. I'll add that onto your homework.
Sorry, Captain, can't make the meeting. Commander said I have to go knit.
No, you can take it with you. I've seen many people talk and knit.
True.
But I've also seen them lose their filter when they knit, so that can be a hit or miss from what I've seen. How are you feeling right now?
Contemplative.
Is it because I'm making you think of yourself as a person, or you're realizing that you're more than just your servant?
Realizing that I haven't thought of myself outside of be honest, outside of Starfleet in a very long time. Having my daughter on the ship reminded me that I am also a mother, but Dr. Onayet has been my identity for so long.
And what are your thoughts about your daughter? How do you feel when you think of her?
Pride, concern, hope.
What are you proud of her?
She's a phenomenal young woman. She's bright. She's kind. She's resilient. So brave.
And is that what makes you worried?
In a sense.
And what makes you worried?
I worry that she thinks she has to keep that up. That she isn't allowed to not be brave and not be resilient.
Have you ever let yourself not be brave or resilient?
There have been moments. They
Have you done
not
those
been
in front of her?
Certainly not.
Then how will she know? You
Fair
can't
question.
expect someone to be vulnerable in front of you without first exposing it yourself. Or being a professional. A smile. But what gives you hope about her?
Everything. She's always excelled at everything. She's very driven.
Mm-hmm. That sounds familiar.
No. She takes after her father.
Oh, I'm sure. Not a bit of her mother's stubbornness in her, is there?
No, not a single whit.
It sounds like you have a lot of faith in her.
I do. I just hope she knows that.
Have you told her?
I have. I don't know if she believes it, but I have.
Have your actions told her?
I would hope so.
When she does something, do you trust her to do it, or do you double check her work every?
I trust her to do it.
And then it's on her to trust you. Do you trust her?
I do.
In what way? In her own
How do you mean?
decisions, in her own decisions, in how she works, in how she chooses to be around people, with yourself, with others. Trust can be time and place. The amount of it can change.
As I said, she's quite capable. She's very bright.
Now, I do believe I have a couple of appointments coming up, but I would like to follow up with you.
Of course.
And I am establishing office hours. They will be up eventually, I promise. But I do have homework. I want an answer to that question I asked earlier. I want to know what you like about yourself that is not in service to others. And I want you to start a knitting project.
Yes, sir.
And if you want extra credit, a few hours on the holodeck. I can't remember if this ship has one, but
Oh, yes. State of the art.
okay. Well, then some leisure time on the holodeck. No training.
She will nod and salute.
Mhm. Head out.
All right. Excellent. On the bridge, Ambrose and company are doing their, duty shifts and whatnot. When let's go up there. Let's see. Elizabeth for sure. All right. And it's on the bridge. Nice. So Elizabeth and Ambrose are on the bridge, just doing typical duty stuff. When a long range communication, a distress signal comes in.
Oh,
Imagine Mills is there too.
yeah. Who do you think is the officer of the watch currently?
My guess is that this is something that Elizabeth would probably respond or would have at her station.
Yeah, but when I say officer of the watch, like who's on the
right? Well, the captain's on the bridge, so it would be him technically.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Yeah, she'll say, "Oh, Captain, I'm getting a distress signal." Do you want me to put it on?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, put it through.
I think he got muted. You punch it up, and on screen comes. Oh, you know also who could be on this since the first officer is currently otherwise occupied is Sewell. Sewell is the comm department, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Tana.
Then they should probably be the one receiving the message.
Yes. Too late. Already started this. She should have, but was busy doing something like Tetris.
Yes, that is taking initiative.
Yes, but taking initiative. That's right. So on the screen comes a somewhat familiar but not super familiar Ferengi face. And there's some fire around him in the background, and the screen is a little bit shaky and some static coming through. This is, oh, hang on. I scrolled past his name. This is Daemon Lupek of the Ferengi freighter Lupex Latinum. I am under attack by Pakleds again. Where is the Federation?
See if we can get a fix on this ship. Damon Lubeck, this is Captain Arani Ambrose of the Europa. What is your current status?
As I said, we are being attacked by Pakleds. They're shooting at me.
Getting a fix on your location now. We will be with you shortly.
Thank you, Starfleet, and hits the button. You can see him like gesture strongly towards the button. It does not take you long to figure out where they're at. They're not that far. Get there in a couple minutes at warp 5. So yeah, you have a couple of seconds to do what you guys want to
do. We don't need to rush for Ferengi. Warp 5.
Warp 5. I mean, you could do warp 7 to make it look like you're trying.
Impulse.
Yes. We'll be there in a few years, Damon. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
We'll get there when we get there, Damon.
I take it we're going to Red Alert battle stations?
Yes. Red Alert, Warp 7. Let's get some scans on this Pakled ship, see if it's the same one we fought before, and what kind of new toys they've installed in the meantime.
All right.
Shall I
get attacked a lot, don't they?
Kind of their lot in life. What were you going to say, Brian?
That just means they're living life to the fullest. Can I go ahead and do a sensors roll to kind of get the measure of the situation?
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a sensor roll. The ship can help, and then you can do a gain information and possibly gain advantage if you have enough momentum.
Okay.
Sensor security for the ship.
Yeah, that'd be fine. The ship didn't do no good. That 3 for otherwise. So you have 3. The difficulty is just default 2. So you have 1 momentum. As enough to get you questions, and not enough to get you the advantage.
I do get bonus momentum. I got 1 bonus momentum from dedicated focus. Plus, we have high resolution sensors, which also grants us an additional bonus momentum.
Right. All right. So you've got 3. You could use 2 that are momentum, that are bonus momentum. You could use 2 to get your advantage coming into it, and you still have 1 question. What you do see though, before you ask your question, is it appears to be the same Pakled ship run by Ugek, who we probably don't remember his name, but that's what it was, Ugek. It doesn't appear to be substantially upgraded, at least nothing you can see outwardly. It does have an unusual number of chronotons on and around its hull, leading it probably may be equipped with a cloaking device now.
Captain, I'm getting indicators that the Pakled ship may have a cloaking device installed.
That is worrying.
You do have 1 question, and you can use the 2 momentum if you want to either ask 2 more questions after that or use them for your advantage.
Is the Pakled ship I'll do the advantage, and then I'll ask the question: is the Pakled ship? Does it look like the Pakled ship attacked unprovoked? Like, is there any battle damage on the Pakled ship?
There is some damage on the Pakled ship, but it's pretty minor. The Ferengi freighter is not well equipped. If they were going hunting for Pakleds, they were being really stupid.
Sure.
The Ferengi ship is also, as before, very, very close to the border, the Romulan neutral zone border, kind of skirting in between Klingon and Romulan space, heading towards the Expanse. So they're making it very they're making a very tight path. And if the Pakleds, as it did last time, came from the Romulan neutral zone, because they came from last time, they came from the neutral zone and then retreated across the neutral zone. So if they're following the same pattern, it's likely that they were ambushed in that fashion. The Ferengi were.
So I actually figured out I actually do have another bonus momentum from my operations manager position.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask the question: do the Ferengi look like they were doing any crimes? Is there any indication of crimes in the area?
There's nothing that you can get on sensors. No.
Okay.
Their hull still has that that sensor dampener technology, so you can't really tell from this distance if there's anything on the ship. But there doesn't appear to be any kind of.
Yeah, last time they had like the snake people in the.
Yeah, they were transporting refugees, quote unquote.
Good. I just wanted to check for crimes. You never know with Ferengi.
Yeah. Such a trusting soul, you.
Crimes. You trust Ferengi to be Ferengi.
Yeah. And commit crimes. Tong is committing a crime right now. You know it is.
Just down into Jeffrey's tube, taking the ship apart, grabbing whatever he can.
Yep. Eavesdropping on everybody.
Good on you, Tong. Good on you, Tong.
So, with that information, what do you guys want to do? You have time, you have a round or two before you jump into it. If you don't want to spend time doing that, we can just jump right into it.
Let's see if we can isolate the source of those chronotons, see if we can get a pinpoint on where this potential cloaking device is. If they have one, I want to render it inoperable.
So when you drop out of warp, you can see the scene. The Ferengi ship is taking some significant damage. It's not like life support's still active. Like they're not going to need, tons of overhaul or anything, but they're definitely being attacked. You get the distinct impression, Ambrose, that the Pakleds are less trying to destroy the ship or anything like that than they are just kind of tormenting the ship. They're not attacking any specific locations. They're actually almost seem to be going out of their way not to be hitting vital systems. Yezabeth, go ahead and give me a roll. Yezabeth, or I guess Mills could do it. A roll to figure out where the target that system. Suppose it probably. Okay. If you're going to fire on it, it would probably be Mills.
We might want to start with a warning.
Probably.
Yeah.
I imagine all of this is happening at once.
Pretty much.
So yeah.
So
I would say, open communications to the Pakled ship while Mills is.
For action economy's sake, let's have Yezabeth make the roll to determine the location. Then Ambrose can talk. Mills can shoot if necessary. So okay. Go ahead and make the roll here, Yezabeth.
So this sounds like a scan for weakness roll.
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot to open my Adobe cheat sheet.
So that's control plus science. The ship aids with securities plus sensor. We do not have any momentum, do we?
You have two momentum from the last session, but I should have deleted it. Did not.
I will spend one of them. Does my sensors focus apply on this?
Yes.
That is 6 successes.
Nice. Difficulty is 2, so you do detect that, and you get 4 additional momentum. It appears as though the cloaking device is of Klingon design.
That looks like a Dakar class cloaking device. They must have taken it from someone, I guess.
Interesting. Previously, they were using mostly Romulan devices, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
I guess pickers can't be choosers.
I suppose so, though that opens up extra problems.
Or maybe they bought it from somewhere. Or stole it. Black market's got everything.
Oh. House of Duras is collaborating with Tal Shiar, correct?
The House of
Either
Toronto,
way.
yes.
Get a lock on that system. I want to be able to fire on it should they decide to run. Open communications.
Sure.
Yes, Captain. And she'll open communications to the
Pakleds.
Pakleds.
The Pakleds come on screen. It is the same gluttonous Ubek that you saw before.
Captain Ugek of the Pakled ship, this is Captain Arani Ambrose. Once again, you are in violation of Federation space and firing on a guest in our territory. Desist immediately.
A guest in your space? We did not know. We will stop. We will stop shooting them. Stop shooting them. Ambrose, you are the captain they were looking for. I'm glad we found you.
There are better ways to get Starfleet's attention than firing on vessels in Federation space.
I just do what we're told. They found you. It's good. At which point, there is a decloaking warbird not too far from you.
Oh. Different they.
Different they. The warbird is just outside of the neutral zone. This is technically disputed territory between the Romulans and the Klingons, not Federation, but it's pretty close to Federation space. I can show you where it is on the map if anyone wants to see. I'll put you over here and then show you. I have to go to it myself. But you're kind of like in this area here.
Okay.
So, but they have crossed the neutral zone.
They are not in, yeah, they have definitely crossed neutral zone. They are in that disputed territory that is potentially Klingon space.
So we're not in Federation space.
It's also Federation disputes. So,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the treaty says they can't cross the neutral zone without.
Yeah, so the treaty is correct for the treaty prior to the Dominion War stuff. It's a little bit more lax now, but yeah, you could certainly cite that they should not be across neutral zone.
Yeah.
They do not hail. They've just decloaked. They're also not doing anything else, but they do have weapons. They have shields raised, but no weapons at the moment.
Lieutenant Sol or Lieutenant Tana. Is that who I'm talking to? Correct.
Yes.
Lieutenant Tana. Invite our new Romulan friends here into this call.
Yes, Captain. And she will hail the wrapping unit ship.
It takes several long seconds before you get a reply. The Romulan ship messages. There's a signal that goes over to the Pakled ship as well. Is an encrypted message, but you definitely detect that a message goes to the Pakled ship. And then on screen, I did not get an image of this person, but on screen comes a heavy-set, middle-aged male Romulan in commander's attire. It's the typical, big-shouldered fleet regalia. It's not, they're not Tel Shiar or anything like that. Greetings, Captain. I am Commander Taven. I see that the Pakleds have gained your attention.
Yes, they mentioned that somebody was looking for us, and then serendipitously you showed up. I can only assume they were referring to you. I will tell you what I told them. There are better ways to get our attention than firing on.
We did good. We found him. We found him good. At which point the Pakled turns off his camera and Elizabeth can detect it, or Elizabeth and Andy Mills can detect that the Pakled ship is moving off.
Should we be letting them go, Captain?
There are many ways to gain the attention of a Starfleet captain. In this particular instance, I wanted to see how you would react. I thought it would be a good test of character.
I believe I react as any Starfleet captain would in this instance. A distress call was received, shots fired in Federation or at least disputed space, so we came to assist. Yes, Ensign, keep an eye on that ship and let 234 know its current location and heading. Commander Tavem, you went through a lot of trouble to get this conversation. So what is it you would like to talk about?
I believe that that discussion would best be served in private. I would welcome you aboard, but I don't believe a Starfleet captain would be so inclined to accept that offer.
Given the introduction you made, no, quite frankly.
Excellent. Shall we forego the discussion then? We can always meet again later.
I would invite you on my ship, though I would make the same assumptions that you just made. Likewise, there are suites aboard Starbase 234 that would be far more suited for a more diplomatic discussion.
Nothing so formal as all of that, Captain. Let us compromise, shall we? Shuttlecraft? Halfway between both ships? I believe you'll be interested in what I have to say.
Can I get a read on this guy? My half Halian empathy,
yeah,
which only sometimes sort of maybe works on Romulans.
Right. Yeah, you get a pretty decent. He's definitely kind of smug at the moment. He's definitely toying with the situation. Like he clearly knew what was going to happen here, and yet he's pushing a lot of boundaries, and you can feel that he feels he's pushing some boundaries, but kind of smugly and not necessarily arrogance. There's definitely confidence there, but it's not to the point of like ego, like megalomania or anything like that. It's a pretty more concise way to put this. He's confident but concerned, if that helps.
Mm-hmm. What kind of ship is this?
It's a full.
It's one of the big new ones.
No, it's a normal Deredex class.
Okay.
I mean, a normal Deredex class. It's still way bigger than your ship.
Yeah. Okay. And last question: is there any nice semi-habitable planets nearby?
There's the one on the map that I didn't put any thought into. I'm going to say probably not immediately in the area. Lambda Hydri, but I'd have to look up that one, and then random other ones. But
I mean, that's all we need is a random other one.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure. I don't. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. At the moment, there are no inhabitable planets within a reasonable range.
Well, Commander, what party would you like to throw? Is this a small gathering between two commanders of their ships, or are you looking for a larger audience?
The information I have for you, Captain, is for you. I would suggest any trusted personnel, perhaps. I will bring my first officer.
Perhaps you could whet my appetite a bit more, Commander. You can understand this is a very unorthodox means of communicating between our two societies, especially given everything that is going on in galactic politics at the moment.
I would absolutely agree. Galactic politics is a hobby of mine. To whet your appetite. He looks around. You get a sense that he's not really sure not really sure that he can. It's an emotion. You don't really get his thoughts. So, nervousness. There's a definite nervousness as he's looking around the ship, which he then steals as he looks back to you. I wish to discuss. How do I put it? Trying to think a good way to put it. Family matters. I have relatives that, well, let us put it that some of my relatives are damn it, I can't think of a good way to put this without giving up too much away. I have relatives who are finding it difficult to keep in touch with their friends afar. And your name has come up a few times. Also, I'm aware that you've come across a recent admiral. And I would like very much to discuss that situation.
Well, I understand that Romulans place great value on their families, as do most of the societies in the Federation, and of course, communication is key. I think that is all agreeable. You and your first officer, and myself and mine, I believe would be appropriate.
I look forward to seeing you shortly, Captain.
I'll look over to Yesbeth. Ensign, find us a suitable location somewhere between us.
There aren't any nearby habitable planets, Captain.
We'll take a shuttle. We'll simply float.
Okay.
Take a shuttle or a runabout or the.
I assume we're not like nose to nose. They decloaked a while off, right? Could we find some place generally between optimal firing range for both ships? Like far enough for that?
They're actually far enough out.
Go wild.
They're actually far enough out that if you took a shuttle, you could almost park dead between the twos out of firing range, almost even. Like you'd be at long range for both ships. If you went to almost the dead center.
Yep. So let's go with that.
All right. Taking a shuttle, the runabout, the yacht. What you going to do? Doesn't particularly matter a whole lot, but.
Yeah, let's just take a runabout. The yacht is a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
That might seem a bit presumptuous and or provocative.
Sure.
But Ambrose is definitely putting a knife in his boot.
Sure. Are you going to contact your first officer? Are you going to have your first officer join you, I assume?
Yes. As I stand, I believe Mills would be next in line on the bridge.
Yes.
If I'm taking the first officer.
Yep.
Mills, you have the con?
Yes, sir.
And I'll begin making my way. Commander Brooks, I would like you to meet me in the shuttle bay. I have an interesting first mission for you. You will be accompanying me on a meeting with my Romulan counterpart on a nearby ship.
Yes, Captain, this will surely be a learning experience.
I believe so. I'll be there shortly.
All right. Anybody have a short scene they want to do before that? If not, we'll just go right to it.
No.
Nada.
All right.
the tense moment. Let's lean into the tenseness.
Yeah.
Right. So you board ship and you head out to the rendezvous point, where a similar sized Romulan shuttle is there waiting, not cloaked. Ouch. Ow. All right. After a few seconds, you receive a coded message that says that they're ready to beam over.
Okay, let's invite our new guests over.
The green energy and distinctive hum of Romulan transporters fills the cabin. As they materialize, you see that the two of them are standing there in their standard, regalia. Both have their hand disruptors with them, as is pretty standard on a Romulan ship.
Not drawn, I assume.
They're not drawn.
Just,
they're in their holsters.
Yeah, Ambrose definitely has his own phaser.
Yeah. With a quick up and down, you can also see that the first officer is a very well-built, like muscular woman who is almost graceful in her standing there. She looks like she could probably do pretty good in a hand-to-hand fight if she were provoked to, and she is wearing a knife on her side opposite of the disruptor. It is an interesting looking knife. You've probably seen a couple of them throughout the course of your career. They're a ceremonial Romulan knife, usually used primarily in like ancient ritual combats. They're not common aboard. They're not common to be seen, but you've probably seen a couple of them over the years. The commander looks at you and looks at the first officer and says, "Captain, it's excellent to be aboard a Federation ship." As he looks around, "This is my first time."
Well, it is too bad this is simply a shuttle.
I suspect it's probably best. I'll be brief. I attempted to get your attention and gauge a few other glimmers of information with this incursion by the Pakleds, who have quite honestly been a pain in my side for some time. The fact that I haven't vaporized Ugak I would count that as a sign of infinite restraint on my part. Regardless, I needed to reach you. Let us start with Mendek. I suspect that he's been turned over to Federation authorities. I'm not here to question your decision. Is it possible for you to get a message to Mr. Mendek, to Admiral Mendek? I don't know why I said Captain. To Admiral Mendek. I would be willing to exchange information with you in order to prove that the message that I wish to send to him is not hostile towards the Federation's intentions. The Admiral still has friends.
If the Admiral is indeed a guest of the Federation, I'm sure as a captain that I could relay any message you wish to send. Of course, it would have to be properly screened.
Very well. I accept that. He gestures to the first officer, who hands a data pad towards Brooks.
You just take it.
Discretion, Captain. It is a virtue. As for my second duty here, I have, on good authority, that an associate of yours in the Romulan Star Empire is being moved. I have an obligation to provide you with some of that information. I do not. I am loath to give you too much. But the situation that we find ourselves in as the Empire, I feel as though, well, regardless of how I feel, Toshari is being moved to a new location. You have a limited window if you wish to do anything about that. Your name, in particular, has been floated about. You are known to your enemies. Beyond that, I cannot provide you much. If you wish this information, I will give it to you. However, once you cross the neutral zone, no amount of duty to Toshari or the Admiral can prevent me and my crew from doing what we must do. Do you understand me?
I believe I do. I would not ask any differently from any other Starfleet captain. But if all of these names you drop and insinuations you make are forthright, as you said, discretion is a virtue. I think it would behoove both parties to aid each other as much as they can in that matter.
I am already taking a great deal of risk, Captain.
If you have
my duty to the Empire is not my loyalty to the Empire is not beyond reproach. I am not a king in my own castle.
From our own analysis, from the analysis of your own people, your empire is starting to crumble.
You get a distinctive sense of rebuke at that, but he doesn't say anything. He balks at the idea. You can feel the reflexive tension from saying that.
As I said before, family is very important. If you have a vested interest, Federation may have a vested interest as well. I'll take what information you have. But if Toshari is being moved quickly to someplace secure, I understand the ships of the Romulan Star Empire will be on patrol. But if we had a better understanding of those patrols, we could more discreetly stay out of your way.
The information I am able to provide you is in this pad. You will understand that it is encrypted. Your team will have to decrypt it. The best I can do is tell you to think back to your childhood memories. There is always a tune that sticks with us. Something that creeps its way back into our dreams from time to time. Sometimes that is the key to our greater understanding. I cannot give you anything more.
That is unfortunate, Commander. Perhaps at another time, when everything is far less tense, we could continue this conversation. I have a suspicion that it would be very interesting to get to know you.
He smiles. If all goes according to plan, if all goes well, Captain, I suspect we will see each other a great deal more. And
All goes well.
And if things do not go according to plan, I know we will.
Well, until next time, Commander to them.
He just kind of nods, looks at his first officer. She just nods, and they hit the button on their arm, the comm signal on their arm, and they beam out. Almost immediately from beaming out, the Romulan ship cloaks and moves off. The Romulan
we're going to do the same.
Shuttle cloaks and moves off.
Mm-hmm.
You guys head back to your ship. They gave you 2 data pads. Before you get to that, they gave you 2 data pads. One is it's written in code, but it's not a real complex code. It's not encrypted. There's a lot of insinuation in it. You can kind of figure out what's going on in that. And that's the one to Mendek. Nothing in it seems particularly, with just a quick glance, nothing seems particularly out of the ordinary. The other one is pretty heavily encrypted and not legible from first glances. So
the second data pad, did he hand that one directly to me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and. There's not a lot of pockets on these space pajamas. I don't know. He'll stick it somewhere.
Right. Throw it out in the middle of the chair somewhere. It's fine.
Yeah. Just like stick it under his leg or something.
What would Eleanor have been able to gauge from like their body language and the way they were talking? Because that's what she was kind of watching for while they were speaking.
Right. You'd gain that the first officer never really moved or said anything. She stood almost like
a bodyguard.
You ever seen an honor guard stance? Like when they're moving through, like doing the parade stances of that. She moved like that. Like she's extremely militant. Whereas he, on the other hand, has kind of slightly more relaxed. But there's tension there was tension in his body, like his upper body, his shoulders. And he was standing in a way that didn't seem entirely comfortable, more like a memory of the way he should be standing than a practiced thing. So probably a little bit more. He's probably been at rank for a while, and is not the rigid disciplinarian that his first officer certainly probably is. But in both cases, neither one of them seemed to be guarded any more than you would expect a Romulan to be.
Commander, your thoughts?
The one we were speaking to hasn't been out here in quite some time.
I get the impression that he went out of his way to make this conversation as discreet for both sides as possible.
Yes, it's discreet, but it's also quite the show.
It always is with the Romulans.
They love attention, don't they?
I believe they love displaying their loath of attention.
I've met teenagers like that.
Do you have any concerns? I would imagine you heard a lot of insinuation that you have little context for.
Yes, and I would like to be filled in on that when you are able.
As much as I can.
I wouldn't expect anything more, Captain. But it looks like they gave us some homework as well, and she just kind of pats the pad that they were given. her pad and then kind of gestures to where he tucked his.
Let's get these back to the ship and get some experts on them. We'll want to act on this information quickly.
Absolutely.
Right. Anybody have anything back aboard ship, or you guys can dock and decide what you want to do from there? If nobody else has like short scene they want to do. Okay. So you guys get back aboard ship. Take it from there.
Let's see. Who do we give this homework to? I think communications would make sense.
Agreed.
They do decryption. Probably. I like Tana and Yezbeth together again. I think that would make sense.
Sure.
Sound good? Okay.
I assume you're giving them the one for Mendek, or you're giving them both. Okay.
No, I'm going to give them the one for Mendek, and then I'm going to take a crack at my specific one.
Okay.
All right. Tana and Yezabeth, you guys are down in the computer library, the access data access terminals, which is basically where Eva is. So I'm guessing that O'Connor is probably also in the area. She may not necessarily be helping you with the project, but as she is currently the primary liaison, or one of the primary liaisons to Eva in the absence of anyone else being assigned to it, and Foxwell leaving. So the three of you are down there. The two of you guys are working on the actual project. Go ahead and give me a quick roll. The roll would be, I'm going to say it's reason and security. And then any foci that you might have that would apply. Espionage might apply. Decryption would obviously apply. That kind of stuff.
Computers?
Computers. Yeah, it would apply.
Okay, so would that add on to the task roll?
So the way that works is if you roll one of the d20s, one of the d20s under the score of your skill, it counts as 2 successes rather than 1. And the roll 20 factors it automatically as long as you click the check mark that says it's focus.
It's worth noting that the communications officer has the role ability that when a task is attempted by the communications officer is increased in difficulty because of unfamiliar language or encryption, ignore that difficulty increase.
Sure.
Kendall, did that answer your question?
Yes.
About the skill, I mean. What she means.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know where Kendall's head was.
Yeah.
Or at least I suspect I know where Kendall's head was. Wanted to make sure that the answer was clear.
Right.
Yeah, so reason and security?
Yes. And then whoever, I assume you're doing the primary, and then Yezabeth will be doing the assist. On the character sheet, I think you've already figured it out, but under Dice Roller, it says focus used. You click yes. So.
All right, and the complication range is 1, right?
The complication range is 1.
All right.
The difficulty would have been higher, but because of your, abilities, difficulty is 2.
Okay.
Elizabeth is a no help, and you got a 1. So I don't think we've covered this with you yet, so we'll go ahead and say now you can use momentum to roll additional dice. It's 1 momentum for 1 additional die, 2 momentum for 2 additional momentum for 1 additional die, 3 additional momentum for a 3rd additional die, if that makes any sense. It's an escalating cost.
Okay.
We didn't tell you before, so if you want to spend momentum now, I will let you. You also have determination. Determination is a thing you can do as long as your value applies, or you can challenge your value if you want to. That's more complicated. But spending a determination basically gives you 2. It is like having rolled a die that automatically rolled a 1. So it's 2 successes, but it counts towards your total die pool that you can roll, which is, I think, 5. But that's more complicated. You probably don't need that at the moment. But if you want to spend momentum, you certainly can. And if you ever have any questions about how the rules work, feel free to ask them. I will be happy to answer them.
I will. Okay, so spending 1 momentum gives you 1 additional die?
Correct.
And do I uncheck the focus?
No. A 0.
No.
Okay. So it takes you a little while. You guys get through. You guys can obviously role play how you want to, but you get through the majority of the document. You've unencrypted it as the best you can. You don't see anything in there that is a red flag. So, but you guys can role play how you want.
I think we're going through it, and Yezebeth can't make heads or tails of it. She doesn't know encryption. And she says, these codes are insane. I'm
They are. I wouldn't really expect much less from Romulans, but you could see one of her eyes has kind of changed color as she's looking it over. Weird. I haven't seen something like this before.
Can I ask a question? Your eye, it's
Prosthetic.
Oh, sorry to.
It's fine. She kind of pulls back her hair, and there's like a very thin scar that goes back to her ear.
Oh, how did that happen?
That is probably a story to be told. I would say over lunch, but I wouldn't recommend food for it.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, I've been through some stuff too. I've died 3 times.
Jesus. Sorry, she wouldn't say Jesus. She's Bajoran.
By the prophets.
I'm the prophet.
Yeah, well, one of them was in my sleep, and the other one was of a seizure, and then I got thrown into an engine once.
You're a stubborn bastard, aren't you?
Well, I didn't survive.
But you're here.
Yeah, I'm a trill. We have.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been through. I've experienced several different lives, and well, they've all ended one way or another. Sorry,
Okay.
I know that's
You're
not
good.
quite the same.
No, it's definitely. You lived through it. You remember it. You probably get like those weird sensory memories. So.
I tell you, I haven't been able to go back into that engine room. That was on this ship.
Ow.
Yeah. Luckily, I've gotten. I went there once, and I almost had a panic attack. I talked to O'Connor, and we traded shifts.
Yeah, I haven't been able to go back to the place that did this, so I can't really imagine you'd want to go back to the place that actually murdered you.
Where was that? What happened?
It was in a cave system on Bajor.
Oh, I heard something about spirits there. Is it true what they say that they're haunted?
She'll just smile at her.
Wait, did you get that? Did a ghost give that to you?
No.
Oh, okay, good. You had me worried there for a second.
That's not to say they aren't haunted.
Whew, spooky.
All right.
Or perhaps blessed.
I think O'Connor doing whatever she has been doing and pseudo listening would break in. Can I take a look?
Yeah.
Comms aren't really my specialty either, but see what we can see. So she will try to decrypt it. She has no focuses that will help. She's a xenobotanist.
Right.
But
You can go
we'll try anyway.
You can go ahead and give me a roll. I will say that the difficulty is back to its normal, which was 3. But because they've already tried to go through it once, I'm going to say the complication range is not. I'm just going to make the difficulty higher. So the difficulty will be 4 with with them having gone through it once, because you don't really know what you're looking for, and you may. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. So,
Okay.
Eva can assist since Eva did not assist before. She should have assisted and didn't.
Okay. And we actually have those 4
We
momentum.
have 4 momentum.
All
Yeah. Yep.
right. I'm going to use one of those.
Okay. Just one.
Just one.
Right.
I had
And
2.
then,
And even though I
did you-
already tried 4, can I help her?
Yeah, but I'm going to keep the difficulty the same.
Okay. So it's at 4?
Difficulty is 4. The ship and you are both assisting. I think.
All right,
that's
so
awesome.
I roll 1.
Yeah, you roll 1. The ship rolls 1. And that'll be communications and security for the ship. Ship is always focused, so the ship rolls.
Oh,
Yeah.
I probably rolled the wrong thing.
Oh,
What
you
was I
can
supposed to
have
be rolling?
We'll take yours.
Reason and security.
Oh man.
Oh,
That's
yeah, I need to roll that. Re-roll that. I rolled reason science.
Oh, did you roll it too,
I
Jack?
did.
Sorry.
Hang on a second.
Yes, you should be rolling reason. You should have been rolling reason and
Hey.
security.
That's a much better roll. I'll take that.
Yeah. All right. So that's 1, 2,
I didn't give it a
3, 4, 5, 6. Since Jack, quietly said that he didn't really roll. That wasn't really his roll.
I was just testing things. Don't worry
testing
about it.
things
Right.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which beats difficulty by 2. So you have 2 momentum that you can use for questions, or you can sort of save them if you want. But yeah, you get through the encryption, and you know that there still isn't any information that's particularly red flaggy as far as the Federation's like security goes, but there is definitely some information regarding like you find some like allusions to fleet deployment and where Mendek might be able to reacquire a command kind of stuff. Like some pretty heavy stuff.
Mhm.
You have 2 questions you can ask if you want to.
O'Connor knows very little about what is happening with any of this, so
Right.
I will leave questions to y'all. Because she's just like, look here, you went wrong because this bit of code over here actually belongs there. But here you go. I fixed it.
Yeah, it's definitely something where this person is trying to get Mendek back into Romulan territory and into a Romulan command,
Mhm.
which is obviously not something that, well, I mean, you guys don't know this, but for those of you later on listening, would obviously know is not something that a person who was in prison would likely, I'm guessing whoever put him in prison would frown on that.
Right.
It looks like they're talking about a reward, not a punishment.
Right.
So what would he be in?
This is clearly a clandestine situation.
Right.
So
Is there any other layers to this? Is there any?
Is this an obtain information momentum?
yes.
What would I have sensory replacement under Tana?
Okay. Which gives you an additional momentum for obtaining information, I think, right?
Hmm?
The character gains an artificial sense trait, which may be used normally. In addition, when the character is using obtain information momentum spend, they may ask questions or be given information not normally available with organic senses.
Right.
Is there anything weird about the message that she might be able to attain by looking at it with her cybernetic eye?
That's a good question. I had not thought that far ahead. Yes, I'm going to say there is. And this would also answer Yezabet's question, so I'm not going to take that one for you. There's an additional layer of security in the message where there's a repeating pattern of letters. The words are spaced in such a way that you wouldn't notice it. You don't notice it by reading, but your eye can pick up the pattern of letters that appears to be some kind of it's a complex series of code, but it looks like it's probably maybe a what do they call them? The codes that can take over ships. What are those called?
Trojans?
No. The security command code, basically, for a ship. I can't remember. He used it in Star Trek 2, and I can't remember what it is right now. Where Kirk sent the message across and was able to lower your Reliance shields. It's something like that. It's that kind of code, but it's clearly a Romulan code.
I think command codes are what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's close enough anyway.
Would she be able to register that after her, like, outside subconsciously with her eye? Or is it just...
Yeah, no, you're between your eye and everything else, you put it together. That's there. That there is a code that looks like a command override code for a ship, probably a Romulan ship. As to which one it is, not really sure, but there's definitely a code there.
There's a command override code.
What?
In this message.
That doesn't make any sense.
Only if we're passing it off to another Romulan.
Okay, well, the captain's definitely going to want to know about that.
Yeah, just...
Prefix code, that's what they called it. The Reliance prefix code. This is a prefix code for a Romulan ship.
Yeah, prefix code.
That's dangerous information to be passing into the hands of your enemy. My first host would have thrown a fit if she thought the prefix code got anywhere near enemy hands.
I'm just gonna kind of look at her. People don't usually expect me to see that kind of stuff. I don't think they expected us to recognize it was there.
Wow. I guess you're our secret weapon then.
Secrets are usually hard to keep. But
Yeah, I feel like there's
nothing else to be gained there, I don't think. So, what do you guys want to do next? You guys are kind of on. I have given you the information. It's kind of on you. Oh, well, you can do. Ambrose can be trying to solve out his plot while you guys are wrapping up what you're doing. So Ambrose, it's pretty much the same role. So it will be reason and security. You have the distinct advantage, though, of I assume you understood what the key is.
Yeah, Ambrose is going to go over to his computer desk, and he's going to look up information on Romulan culture. And he's done this search before, I believe, and pull up that file with the Romulan lullaby that he's heard before, and he's going to he's going to listen to that a few times, but he's also going to get it displayed on the computer in like the actual musician notes, like if you were to play it out. I forget what that's called. I'm not a musician.
The music.
And then also have it broken down. Sheet music. That's it. And have it also broken down in like wave pattern, like sound wave patterns and whatnot, and like a mathematical representation of the song. Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you using Eva at all, or are you kind of leaving her out of the picture?
I'm gonna keep privacy mode on for now. If I can't figure it out, I might go with Eva, or I might track down someone else. But for now, he's gonna try this on his own. We'll see if it works.
All right, go ahead and give me the roll. I'm gonna say the difficulty is, since you're going through all of that work, I'm gonna say the difficulty is 3, which it would have been much higher, but because you're going through all the steps. Let's see, team dynamics, composure, inspiration. I don't think any of those apply.
Not really. No.
Nope. I can't read your values from here because my boom arm is in the way.
Mm-hmm. I don't think my values have any direct application. Diversity overcomes adversity. Respect must be given to be earned. The stars are full of wonder, the stuff of dreams and the stuff of nightmares, and the Federation must be preserved at all cost. I don't think I added anything to that.
I don't
No.
think any of those really apply.
Unfortunately, without adding a specific new value, this system doesn't have a way to gamify relationships.
No, not really.
Yeah. I wish there was something I could get for Ambrose just being so determined to do this because of his connection with Toshiri, but I don't have it.
I mean, you can still spend a determination regardless of it being tied to a value because of the situation that it's in. I would certainly allow that. What were you gonna say, Brian?
I was just saying the idea is that if you care about somebody, you're supposed to put them in your value, and then you can spend determination like that. I think it'd be worth doing. Like, if you want to change your value on the fly, if you care about her that much, you should add that as a value.
Yeah,
you could do that. You could add one. You don't necessarily have to change them. I don't know that there should be a limit on values, or within reason. There's not shouldn't be a limit on values. If you had any of the, I'm certain you could add one because I'm sure you've gotten points that you haven't used.
Yeah. I'll spend a determination. Mechanically, I don't know if it's necessary. It's only 3. Not that I have a big dice pool here.
It just makes sense to use it,
but I think it makes sense. Case. Yeah. So I'm going to spend my determination for that one critical.
I would like to see. You don't have to do it tonight, obviously, but I would like to see how you write that up, because I think that could be an interesting. The way you write that value could be an interesting way to reflect on how that relationship actually is viewed by Ambrose.
Okay, so my value can't just be Romulan girlfriend.
No, I want to see how it's worded, because I think that would be more interesting.
Okay, cool. And I will also do my staple move, which is giving you a threat for an extra dice.
All right, I'll take it.
I don't care that we have momentum.
Yeah, you have 6 momentum at the moment, so
I don't care. Take a threat.
I like it.
Any extra complication? It's a pad. How complicated can it get?
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to think if there's anything I would want to do to make it more complicated.
This message will self-destruct now.
I'm going to spend the one you just gave me to increase the complication, and I'm going to tell you that at the complication, if you get a complication, you're going to get your times wrong. So,
oh no, that is a complication.
That's a complication.
Okay, so complication range is now 2. I'm rolling 3 dice. I spent my momentum. No focuses here.
Right.
Reason security, you said, right?
Yep. You only got to get 1 because you've got you spent your determination. So
I got the
1. There's your 1. All right. And no complications there, right? You sad sack.
Nope.
All right.
Oh well.
So you definitely get some information. It looks like that she's going to be moved sometime in the next couple of weeks. You do have a direct date. I don't have it in front of me. It'll be sometime in an upcoming session. But you get a direct time, and you get a direct path that they're going to be traveling to. So you can, if you want to set up like any kind of like ambush along the way, you have the route that the ships are planning on taking. You have the defensive capabilities of the ships that are taking her. It looks like it's going to be 2 warbirds, and then a couple of smaller ships that are like reconnaissance type ships. They're probably like size 3 ships. And then you have 2 warbirds, which are the bigger warbirds, the newer, more modern warbirds.
The brand spanking new ones we saw before, the Valdors.
Yep.
Okay.
2 of those plus 3 smaller ships as escort. They will be under cloak. They'll be in this area, and you can go through and figure out. You can plot it out where it's all going, and it uses just as because you went through all the work. It actually uses a color coding coordination that deals with the rule of fifths in music, where the music is the 12 notes are shifted and then color coded and then shifted back, which is something that it took you a while to figure out, but you managed to do it. And then that color coding gave you the rest of the signals that you needed. The rest of the information you need to be able to get everything through. Color coded is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It is coded in a way that you shift the 12 letters, pair them, and then and then shift them back.
The key, you mean?
The key, yeah. So that was an interesting way to a very unique way of doing an encryption that you hadn't really seen before, but it's pretty effective. And distinctly unique to this situation. Like, it is absolutely tied to that.
Yeah, nobody would have been able to decrypt this without knowing about this all.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? I'm going to ask the same question that Kendall did. Is there anything interesting below this? Is there a little projection? Captain Ambrose, you're my only hope. Does a little Leia pop out?
There is not. However, this doesn't appear to have been written by her.
Okay.
The way.
Sorry, did you say it does or
does not appear to have been written by her? But it is clearly using information that only she would know. Something maybe perhaps she was relaying information to someone else, or someone that is very close to her is part of the situation, that kind of thing. It's not directly written by her, but there's definitely a sense of desperation in the writing of the information. Like, it is a verbose amount of information, clearly defined to do something, like unquestionably, like, you need to go here and do this thing because we can't, kind of thing. I wish I'd thought about doing the underlying thing earlier, and I had written a message, but I did not.
Yeah, I'm going to take all that information and like manually type it over into its own pad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's got anything else? You guys are taking the information to the captain, but does anybody have anything they want to do before that? Yazabeth is in the process of doing stuff, so having her go to the other thing would not be working out. Tong, Koba, Silva, anybody else have anything they want to bring up? Silva still hasn't taken to the captain yet.
Yeah, we can do that if you like.
Sure. You want to take it to the captain or the first officer?
Would Silva and we don't need to do the scene, but I'm just asking, would Silva talk to Tong about Thomas popping up?
That's a good question.
She'd almost be worried. I think she'd almost be worried that she'd be getting him involved because she fully expects retaliation from Thomas for this. At least if she doesn't involve Tong, he won't get caught in the crossfire.
Well, I believe what I took from his talk to you was he was insinuating that he said you had information that would go to intelligence, and I took that to mean the info on Tong's pad,
which he may or may not be sure you have. So
yeah, I think we were just talking about the information we got from the Admiral.
Sure.
Yeah, but yeah,
so
no, she's
going to bypass Tong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to involve him with exposing this guy.
Sure.
Like, Tong she is expecting retaliation, and she doesn't want to involve Tong in this. So
the question goes to, are you going to go to the captain or are you going to go to the XO?
She's going to bypass the XO. She doesn't trust the XO yet. Look, Silva's sure. Silva's sure you're nice. She is not sure you're not working with Thomas.
I think Silva just volunteered to be the next person on the chair, though, in the analyzing chair. So sure. Silva, you go to the bridge. Captain is in his ready room at the moment. The XO and company are on the bridge, also doing whatever it is they do when they're not doing anything particular. And head straight over to the captain's ready room and push the button, and the little chirp goes off in Ambrose's room.
Enter.
She'll walk in, and as soon as the door closes behind her, she'll pull out her tricorder, and she'll just begin scanning. And she'll, I wanted to talk to you about the duty rosters. Now I appreciate you letting me transfer into intelligence, but you've got me on helm. And then as soon as she's relatively sure that there's no tracking devices or listening devices here, she'll go. Never mind about all that. I wanted to talk to you about a visitor we had last night. One
This
who
was any other week, Lieutenant.
I I don't know about you, but I'm growing more paranoid by the day. Guess who visited me in my quarters in the middle of the night? Lieutenant Thomas. She does air quotes. Lieutenant Thomas. Lieutenant Thomas. She does air quotes around the whole thing.
Remind me, does Ambrose know about Thomas?
It
His
would've-
name might have been tossed out in the debriefing we had.
His name
Yeah.
was in the debriefing for sure.
Okay.
Because he
We
did come
def-
aboard. Did he come aboard ship? He did not come aboard ship, but he was in the
No.
debriefing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Thomas, I believe you or Tong mentioned a Thomas on this
Yeah.
mission you were just on.
Yeah, he we got separated on the planet and we made the escape and he didn't, but he found his way aboard ship. I don't know how.
That is troubling.
You're telling me. Worse, he was hitting on me.
Kind of.
Eva, I would like
make
you
it
to do a diagnostic on our transporter logs, shields, transporter bay logs, and internal crew sensors.
There is a gap in my internal crew sensors for Lieutenant Silva's quarters between the times of, and she gives the 2 times, which is pretty much exactly.
Who has the Eva? Who has the authority to create such a gap?
The ability, the authority or the ability. The authority resides with the captain and the chief engineer, as well as the first officer. The ability would be several engineers, including Tong, Lieutenant Tong, and she names off a couple other ones. However, I do not believe that any of them have accessed my systems recently in that capacity. It appears to have been an outside interference. The only one who could have code of that variety would either be Dr. Foxwell or Dr. Maddox or Lieutenant Shadbar Neva.
Is that code malleable? Can you change that?
I will endeavor to.
She'll look pointedly at him. What do you think of this new XO?
That is an interesting question coming from a lieutenant, but I believe I understand your meaning. I've heard good things about her. She comes highly recommended by Admiral Aralani, who is somebody I respect on the Admiralty board.
Look, I did a bit of digging. I found this ensign. I believe he's actually Thomas. There's a gap in his history. You can see right here, and she'll bring up his jacket and point it out, and she'll say, maybe you should look into the XO, see if there's anything like this.
These records are 9 years out of date.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. He just disappeared out of the service, and I can't even find a registered homeworld.
Well, intelligence, from what I understand, does have its means of counterintelligence. This could simply be that. I can look into it as much as I can, but there are times when Starfleet intelligence goes above and beyond captain's rank.
I'll tell you, Captain, there's something in my gut that tells me that this guy's not Starfleet intelligence. If he was, he would have told me.
There are more appropriate protocols to go through than what you described on your last mission. Thank you for bringing this to me. I'll look into it. Do you believe this is a direct, imminent threat to yourself, the ship, our mission, recent events?
He didn't say anything that made me believe that he meant us harm. But the fact that that could change is what worries me. And the fact that he has access to our systems beyond what even you can access, that's a problem.
Yes, we'll have to look into securing Eva's command codes a bit better. Be time for some more security drills.
I wouldn't recommend that. If he gets wind that if he finds out we've heightened security because of intruders, he might get that. He might think we're onto him. Maybe it's better if we keep things the way they are, but change it so that we were aware of what he's doing.
I don't like leaving holes in the wall unpatched.
It's your call, Captain, but that's what I do.
We'll see if we can find a way to at least monitor these systems better.
Yeah.
Keep it under advisement.
Well, that's it. Can I have permission to tell Ensign Tong about this? We were partners in everything we did, and it feels wrong to keep this from him, but I'm also worried that this could splash back on him.
I believe that is a determination you need to make. He was part of the away team. I would assume he has the clearance necessary for any information you would have. Remember, I was brought onto this after you were.
Clearance is one thing, Captain, but we don't know anything. We don't know what his authority is. As far as we can tell, he simply walks into the joint and says he's in charge. I don't think he's got any legitimate authority.
The means he used could belay that. I agree. Tong is a capable officer, and as you said, he was a partner with you in this. If you trust him and you trust in his ability, bring him on. But you're playing your own suspicion here. One I can agree with. I'll do what I can.
He might go to Tong next. What if we set up a trap for him?
We could do that. Loop him in. We'll get. We'll have better surveillance running on our internal sensors and see if we can at least determine when and how this is happening.
Yeah, that sounds great. All right. And what do you want to do about our new executive officer?
In what capacity? She is a Starfleet commander assigned here as our executive officer.
I mean, trust but verify, Captain. Trust but verify.
I've done my due diligence.
All right, if you say so.
Believe me, it will take some time for her to acclimate herself aboard ship and all of our crew. We all have our transitioning periods.
It wasn't that long ago we had our bartender turned out to be a Romulan spy. I'm sorry if I'm sounding paranoid, Captain, but you gotta admit it's warranted.
As I said, Lieutenant, any other week, it would sound paranoid. But there have been a lot of clandestine conversations recently, a lot of hushed tones and insinuations.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I need to go change the locks on my quarters.
Back in the Maquis, remind me, what was your specialty?
Smuggling. I moved weapons from, well, anywhere we could get them to the colonies.
I imagine that required a fairly detailed knowledge of sensors, how to detect them and avoid them.
Mostly how to avoid them, but yeah.
As you said, bring Lieutenant Tong in on this, work with him, and put together a small list of personnel you think would be helpful in this endeavor.
And ones we can trust, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You got it, Captain.
Keep me apprised.
She'll go to the door and she'll say, have you spoken with Jissa about our shift change? She's been taking up all the simulator time.
We'll work on schedules as the need arises, Lieutenant. Dismissed.
She'll walk out and she'll just go. Can't believe it. She'll just walk off, making it look like she had a frustrating conversation with the captain.
Sure. All right. About
Love
that
it.
time. What's that?
Love it.
Yeah.
Just to keep the pressure on the captain right now, because we have another group of people coming in. Yezabeth and
Tana.
and I'm maybe O'Connor. Probably
Yeah.
O'Connor, since she helped.
I think O'Connor should be there rather than Yezabeth, to be honest. But she was more. Yezabeth will be there though. I want to be in the scene.
I think Yezabeth would propose that, and O'Connor would stare at her like a deer in the headlights. You should come too.
Oh God, dude! I don't want to talk to the captain. He's scary.
We'll each push each other forward until.
I've never been to the principal's office before.
I know I'm not in trouble, but no. You know I exist.
Hang on one second. Go here. So the three of you also walk onto the bridge. Are you going to go to the XO, or are you going to bypass the XO and go to the captain?
Do you want me to play two characters in one scene?
Really, it's
that's
more
true.
of I suspect they're going to bypass you anyway. So.
Yeah, probably.
O'Connor would probably argue for chain of command, but maybe the XO's off duty at the moment.
So walk onto the bridge. That was weird. All right. So you guys you guys go onto the bridge. And the XO is tending to something at one of their consoles as you head up to the captain's ready room. You passed Silva as she was entering the triple lift that you guys were exiting. Because there's nothing like having that awkward moment where Silva and Yezabeth sound exactly the same for 5 seconds. But you arrive at the captain's ready room, and Ambrose, as you're getting back to a little bit more of your work, the door chimes again.
Enter.
Door slides open, and the three of them are standing there.
We have the report. She'll raise the data pad. We have the thing.
Of course.
We found something underneath the message.
Yeah, you guys step in and close the door.
Mhm.
What did you find?
What was it called again? The what?
The prefix code.
There was a prefix code underneath the message for a Romulan ship.
That's incredibly sensitive information. Who else knows about this?
Just
Eva.
us. And Eva.
Is this the only copy? The original?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Know that we don't know it's the actual one. Could be a
We
trap.
don't know. And we don't know what ship they're.
It looks like they are trying to reward him for prison time. If I'm remembering that correctly.
That's an interpretation.
Yep.
That may also it does read a lot like now that you're free, we need you back here. There's a fleet over here that you might be able to get command of, kind of thing.
They're looking to give him the command now that he's free.
Now that he's free. Yes. There's a lot of tension and a lot of turmoil in the Romulan Star Empire at the moment. I believe there are at least 2 different factions that are moving their own pieces on the board. It looks like Mendek's side just got a new piece on that board.
I think we're one of those pieces, Captain.
We certainly are. Well, this information is bound for Admiral Mendek. I will take a look through it myself, but it does not seem that you've noticed any red flags,
No, sir.
any danger to the Federation.
Not unless you count the possible traps.
Well, they would know that we were taking a look at the information on this pad. Sneaking sensitive information in like this could bait us into acting on it.
Yes, but they probably weren't aware that someone could see it. It's going to blink and one of her eyes is just going to change color to that kind of, it just looks like a lighter shade than her normal eyes are. She'll blink again and her eyes are going to go back to that dark color.
This is something that would be in her medical file.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
It also wouldn't be entirely dissimilar to something that you have.
Mm-hmm.
They probably didn't anticipate us looking that closely at it.
Regardless, this is important enough information that we simply cannot choose to ignore. Believe me, Ensign, I am always wary of things jumping out from the darkness.
We also got their patrol route, or where they'll be taking her. No,
Those were 2 different. I believe those were 2 different pads.
you're right.
Yeah,
those are different pads. Yeah, that's.
I believe you got information. I believe you did actually get information on the fleet and maybe even the ship for this command code.
Location of a fleet.
Location of a fleet,
but you're not certain what
directly.
ship it is. Yeah,
Okay.
That is probably something Mendek would know.
But generally, deploying like there is this fleet here now or at this time. Go there and take command.
Pretty much, yeah.
Take command. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Gain yourself some command.
Yes. Good work. I'll pass this along to Starbase 234 and the Admiral.
Hey, Captain.
O'Connor,
Yes, sir.
you were part of this team.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Part of it. She actually did the whole thing herself. I mean, never mind.
I just showed them the piece. They had a piece of code backward. That was it. They got most of it. Just had to fix the one little part.
Good work.
Thank you, sir.
If there's nothing else,
No.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
dismissed.
All right. And off they go, unless someone's staying behind.
Uh-uh.
After they get into the turbo lift, Yazabeth will go, "It's the eye. It's creepy, right?"
What's creepy?
Rude.
I mean, not yours. I mean his. It's just, he's such an intimidating presence.
You ever looked into a captain's eyes? Dull, lifeless eyes, like a doll's eyes. No one's gonna get that reference, but all right. So I like that.
I am sure you've seen weirder. She just looks at you both. I'm sure you've seen much scarier eyes.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. I saw him break that guy's arm once.
I do. Look, I've seen the captain do some gnarly stuff.
All right. Do you guys have any other scenes you want to throw out there before we call it a night? Since tomorrow is a work day for me.
It's that time already.
It's pretty close.
It is.
I got a few more minutes if you guys want to do something else, but
Not unless you want to do another therapy session.
Yeah, do we want to do another Brooke session?
That's up to you guys. We could do one.
Well, one thing I think I might want to I think we should get started. Maybe it's just not the right time narratively, but I think Kendall should speak with Brooks regarding the incident with Jisa.
Sure. That's not a half bad one to do. We could close out on that. Let's go ahead and do that. This would probably be a first officer thing and not a therapy session thing.
Yeah.
So let's say that this is during at some point during Brooks's day, normal shift duty, where you are in your office, probably doing crew rotation and crew evaluation, that kind of stuff. The day-to-day ship management and logistics that is your job by definition. Not Jisa. Jisa's the wrong one. We want Kendall, not Jisa. It's about Jisa. When you see on your schedule that the Ensign Onate has blocked out some time has requested to block out some time with you.
Said he had an open office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she'll come by the XO's office and do you have Commander Brooks, do you have a moment?
Yes. Please, sit. What can I help you with?
I wanted to speak with you about, well, there's been an ongoing incident on the ship, and things are only getting worse.
With who?
Jissa Shajin, the flight officer for the fighter squadron. We had a run-in when we were searching for the Bellerophon. We got stranded in the Delta Quadrant through a wormhole. There was some disagreement about what we should be doing. I was in charge of the way team. Jissa disagreed with how I believed we should handle things. So, well, she drew a phaser as I was going to carry out what I thought was best for the mission. Shot me with it, stunned me, and then brought me back onto the ship.
Have there been any disciplinary actions taken?
No, that's why I'm coming to you.
How long ago was this?
Oh, 6 star dates ago. I don't know.
Anywhere between last week and 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was roughly probably a month ago or so, maybe a month and a half.
And things have only gotten more tense on the ship. We almost had another fight during Koba's party.
It is a small ship.
Look, I'm not wanting to get anybody in trouble, but I don't know if I can continue serving on a ship where
No, she needs to be in trouble to learn from what she has done wrong. You understand that, correct?
yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was hoping you would say.
I will need to speak with her.
Yeah, of course.
Is there anything else you can tell me about this incident?
She did end up doing what was right. Like, we ended up getting off the planet. And
Did the ends justify the means?
I don't know. I still feel like we could have found what we needed. The planet was abandoned, and I was going to go search for spare parts. Maybe that could have worked. Maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know. But we ended up getting off the planet. But things have been tense ever since, and I don't think they're going to get any better.
Okay. And you believe that if she continues to serve on this ship, you will not be able to?
Yeah. I never would have dreamed she would have shot me.
Were you... Let me see. Do you think she might have believed you were standing in the way of both of your own survival?
I guess I don't know. I don't have empathy anymore. I can't tell what people are what how they feel about things. Not the beta Z way, at least.
You don't need to be able to. When people go into a survival nature, to be able to help themselves and help the person around them, it's not always pretty or nice.
Well,
So I'm asking if she looked less. Sorry, word. Let me see. I'm asking if you think she did what she thought was best, or she did that because she didn't like what you were doing.
if it had just been that incident, I would have thought the former. But she's continued to antagonize me, and I'll admit I probably haven't been the friendly. I admit that I probably haven't been super. She hasn't exactly been my best friend since, but you'd have to ask her what her motivations were.
I will. Thank you for bringing me this.
Thank you for looking into it. It was so hard to bring it up to bring it to mom.
Now, if you would like me to put on my counselor hat, I have other thoughts about this.
Oh well, your counselor hat, huh? My shift. I am expected back on deck 13.
You did book me for an hour.
Right.
But if you'd like to get back to work, I can let you run off.
She will do just that. She will scamper away. I do need to get back to work.
She won't go after her.
What was that? She won't?
She won't go after her. It's going to get her later for her psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
Scheduling mandatory psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're all.
This is a ship of kooks.
This is a ship of trauma.
Yeah. There may be some damage. All right, let's go ahead and end it there for the night. I like the idea of follow Wajisa, but I think that is something for another session.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Right. I just don't want it to get lost.
Yeah,
like
no.
all of my other scenes I want to happen in the past 3 forever sessions.
I have this
putting it in the
written
note.
down. I'm asking for it.
Follow up on rampant shooting.
In the notes.
If you want to call it rampant shooting, Jisa has a lot more people she wants to shoot.
I figured this was just the start, so I mean,
If I'm going down.
wait for the XO to start her. Wait for the XO to start her evaluation to just shoot her.
I gotta say, I'm kind of super glad that that somebody who was not involved in the scene at all is the one who's going to be making the decision.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with what moment stands out most to you this evening. I thought everybody had some good moments. I thought the role playing was really good tonight.
Yeah.
The pacing
It was a
wasn't
short
too
episode,
bad.
but it was a good one.
Yeah, it had to be short because, is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anybody have a moment specifically or no?
I really
go ahead, Brian.
I really like Tana Soul's eye. That was a good effect. It was a good affectation, and I liked it.
Thank you. I had fun bringing that out.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked the encrypted messages, both in the spacing out in the coding and in the sheet music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really liked the going through and thinking about all the different ways that you can analyze music mathematically and waveform and everything else. I thought that was really, I thought that was good. Definitely a Shadowrun player.
Ambrose says thinking about how this I have been thinking about how I could use this music in a way like that for months now.
Yeah.
Probably be finally did. Yeah.
Anybody else have a moment? Jack or Kendall, you got anything?
I really liked the session that she had with Dasavi at the beginning.
Okay. That was pretty good. There's a lot going on there in that session.
I get into Dasavi's feels today.
Yeah. The only thing that concerns me about those scenes, I think they're really good. But there's one of those things like we could do full gaming sessions of just analyzing characters. There's a lot to go through. But I really did like that. I'm not sure how to ask this question, but I want to do it. It's a question we haven't done in a while, but who best embodied their character? It really is which character I think was best embodied tonight. I really thought that, really honestly, the XO, because we don't know much about her. So we got to see a lot about this new character. And I think that was a really well embodied character. There was a lot of things going on there. But I think I would actually give that probably to Tana. I think we got the most development out of that character as far as the eye, and there's clearly some kind of trauma there with that, a mental trauma with that. So I think that's probably the character that I would have chosen tonight.
Yeah, Tana's really interesting.
Does anybody else have a character, and if they do, why?
I really liked what Jack did with the music and like the fact that his feelings for the Romulan, whose name slips away from me at the moment.
Tosha.
The Romulan.
Yeah.
Just the Romulan.
No, I really like that. I really like that I really like that his feelings are kind of getting in the way of the situation, and I thought you did a really good job of like letting them get in the way,
Yeah.
but in an interesting way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I agree. Have you
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with Ambrose tonight. I'm having a hard time stepping back out of Ambrose brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be a challenge sometimes. All right.
I really liked Silva.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
Anything particular about the way the character was portrayed?
I like how accurately she's. I like the paranoia and just instant, and not the instant trusting of a new person on ship,
mhm.
because trust is earned.
I like the conflating Thomas and the new XO. I like that
Yeah.
that twist. It's nice.
Like that, and weirdly, I like the strange little ADHD moment at the end of that conversation. Like, I know we just had this super serious conversation about espionage, but also, hey, what about the schedules?
Right, but see that I think is mostly I like that moment because it's clearly Silva and mostly Silva trying to mask why she was there. Like that's
Yeah, that
exactly.
I didn't take that as an ADH moment. Hey, what about this too? That was clearly speaking in code and deflating the situation for observing audiences.
I like it that way. I mean, I can certainly see it being perceived as an ADH moment because that's pretty much how my brain works. But yeah, I liked that. Let's wrap it up with what if you could change one thing about the session, what would it be? For me, I have 3 things. 2 are with the encrypted messages. I wish I had thought sooner ahead of the layers upon layers thing. Although I thought the prefix code was a good add. I wish I had thought ahead early enough to actually have written out a message from Toshiri to the captain. I did not think of that. And I wish I had been able to have a better portrayal of the Romulan commander, the Romulan commander before getting to the shuttlecraft. I think I didn't really convey his personality very well. Like I think I didn't have it worded out well enough. I hadn't thought ahead as to what I should have, what insinuations I should have made. I didn't have my doublespeak really well planned out for that one, and I think I failed on that front. But it turned out okay, so not that bad. But who else has got something they would like to change about the session?
Mine is less what thing I'd like to change and more thing I would like to see in the future. I would love to see the captain want to talk with somebody about how he's feeling about Toshiri. Like, you know, I get that he's the captain and has a lot on his mind, but like, talk to somebody about that. That'd be so fun for you to do.
We could have we can make him state counselor.
Yeah, I was just saying now that Dasavi is no longer the XO, that opens up Dasavi back up as a confidant. So that's
possibly
an option too.
Possibly, yeah. Ambrose doesn't really have like Picard had Crusher that he would always go to and speak in confidence with. Sometimes even Riker, but I don't feel like Ambrose really has a personal connection outside of captain to subordinate that we've seen on this ship, and it would be interesting to find one.
I don't know. I think we've explored a little bit of the Dasavi and the captain with her having saved him and everything else. Like you definitely have some kind of history there that we haven't explored real deeply, but it feels like there's been something there that we just haven't seen yet. Like maybe there's something happening off screen that we just haven't really gotten to yet. So I think it wouldn't be out of the question for that one.
And this is definitely an opportunity to like add those layers.
Yeah.
You know,
the thought, just something to think about. Anybody else have anything they would change about the session?
So I will say, and this might be my own GM nitpicking. It felt like we kind of doubled down on the Mendek decrypting Mendek's pad because we kind of failed that first roll.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it really made sense for the botanist to come in and be like, hey, you missed this highly sophisticated code here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was because necessary information was locked behind a failed roll, because I know that's always a problem for GMing.
I don't know if that's
or what
necessary
happened, because
information
it
because
didn't
you guys
really.
getting information didn't matter one way or the other. That's why I didn't really mind making the roll again either, because it's not information you necessarily needed, but it does. So getting that information does add credibility to the Romulans who gave you the data.
Mhm.
So that's the reason I went ahead and allowed it.
Yeah, it was definitely super helpful information. I just
Yeah.
don't really know why the botanist got it.
Yeah, it's just the way the rules. I put it more on
Yep.
Eva.
sheer fluke on the roll because I hadn't reset my roll. So initially she'd only gotten 2 successes, and by sheer luck of the dice, got 4 and a significantly lower set of skills and attributes.
Yeah. I get where you're going with it though. Like it certainly is not a role that normally should have been allowed. But I think it added some. I think having the information added more to the scene than not having information, even though in neither case was it essential to the story. So
it could also have been a good opportunity for like success at cost. So
yeah, it's true. I always forget about success at a cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that the information was given. I just feel like it was a moment where gaming the system trumped over narrative reason.
Sure.
To me,
I don't disagree. It's definitely an interpretation of the scene. Like I said, I didn't feel it meant that much, so I didn't really worry too much about it. But you're not wrong. Sure. Anybody else got anything? If you had a scrunched up face for a minute there, I don't know if you had anything.
Something.
Did you? Go ahead. Ed.
No, nothing I'd change. I think my scrunch up face was just thinking more longer term, and this is not at all the intention of the scene, but a result of it is it gives O'Connor a place, or gives me a place to start to change O'Connor's confidence.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if we can make something come of a bad roll, or not a bad roll, but a roll that doesn't make a ton of sense, then sure, I'm for it.
Yeah.
You should find a way to bring O'Connor in more
maybe
appropriately.
Maybe she could get a mentor character, somebody to. That's just a thought.
Yeah, there's all kinds of. We could talk about it. Kendall, did you have anything you wanted to add that was that you would change about the session?
No, I felt it was pretty good.
Okay. Cool. Well, I don't have anything else. It has been a fun session, I thought, anyways. It was a lot of role playing. There was a little bit of some tension there, a couple spots. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the Pakleds because, they're not done.
Sure.
That's my one thing. I want to see more Ugek, which is ridiculous. He's nothing but entertainment for me. But
I was thinking the same thing. To them was like, can we just vaporize this idiot? Like,
in that particular instance, Taven was using Ugek for his own ends.
I won't report this to Starfleet if you don't report it to the Empire. Let's just blow up the ship while they're leaving and be done with this stupid Pakleds.
You could track him down for having a legal cloaking device.
Hell, we could get rid of the Ferengi too. Let's just erase this whole situation.
Like Lupeck,
we're both done with it.
Lupeck hates you with so much passion for no reason. I'd love
Federation.
I'm
sorry, I didn't know personal savior.
Well, I mean, you guys were the ones that talked to him last time, so he's like, "Where are you?"
I know.
I'm not done with Lupeck yet. Maybe Bro will come back and kill Lupeck for you.
God. I don't know what's worse. I do know what's worse.
yeah, you do. All right, I don't have anything else for this session. Again, if you enjoy this show and you want to support us, you can do so on Patreon. You can also do so just by sharing this with other people. We've had a lot of people coming on the show in the chat lately. I really enjoy talking to people. I want to thank, we had a new subscriber today.
Panchi Artista.
Yep. Thank you for subscribing to the show or following Studio Tembo. Welcome. And I had other things I was going to say, but my brain just totally blanked on me. So check us out, all the places, Studio Tembo. You can also find us on Discord. Join us there. I'm on TikTok and all the other places. I don't have anything else to go with. So everybody say goodnight. and we'll call it an evening.
Night.
Night.